Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and this is our road to Tokyo. Our next guest, Paralympic hopeful, Mr. Jamal Hill. Jamal,
Yes,
how you
sir.
doing?
I'm doing really, really well, Bob. Excited to be here with you, brother.
So it sounds like you are going to be classified down in Brazil, and that was a big hang-up, right? You needed to be reclassified.
Yes,
You
sir.
do it every year.
Yes,
but the
sir.
problem was there was no events
Yeah.
in 2020 or even early 2021 for you to be classified at.
Yeah, no, definitely. The implications of COVID-19, obviously to everyone worldwide, but especially on the Paralympic circuit, with there being so many nuances to competition outside of just being fast, it was going to be a big challenge. But as you just said, man, we finally got it ironed out, it would seem. And so 2 weeks I'll be in Sao Paulo. Won't be on the beach, maybe, but I will be being classified.
Very cool. And take me back when you were, you young boy, 8,
Yes,
9
sir.
years old.
Yes, sir.
You're a regular, everyday kid.
Everyday kid.
10 years old, what happened?
Yeah, regular everyday kid, 10 years old, comes around. So first of all, man, shoulder dislocation. So
Like you didn't hit it or anything? It just dislocated?
didn't hit it. It's a little bit fuzzy, a little bit of, I think it was a combination of just being young. Maybe, at that point in time, we're talking about early 2000s, double jointed wasn't as popular as it is now. So, being able to dislocate your shoulder in and out wasn't necessarily okay. And also we think it was a little bit early onset of what would happen later on when I was 10 years old, which is the neuropathy that developed in my body. So it's a hereditary neuropathy, Charcot-Marie-Tooth. 10-year-old me is at the Thanksgiving table. My right arm goes to sleep, my left arm goes to sleep, both legs go to sleep. And I tell my dad, hey, something is not right here. So from there, we left, we went to the hospital, ended up being admitted into Children's Hospital Los Angeles for a few weeks. And, for really the first few days of that initial week, I was in a state of temporary paralysis. I could talk, I could move my head back and forth, but my brain was not able to communicate with the rest of my body.
That is unbelievable. And how, as a kid,
Yeah.
all your friends were out playing, and what were you able to do, right? You couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the quasi-fortunate aspect of it is this happened, like I said, kind of in that time of Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I don't know, as a 10-year-old kid, I'm not really seeing anybody during this time. Nobody knows I'm even gone. They're all enjoying their holidays. Nobody, I'm not missed at all. But, I had a strong support system. My parents never instilled fear in me. They were never afraid. They were always just like, if they were afraid, they didn't show it to me.
Right.
It was an idea of what you can, what you will, and what you want to be able to do. And that's kind of the end all be all.
When did you find swimming?
I refound swimming as a sophomore in high school, actually. So what they would say the formative years, I'm catching up on right now. But yeah, I refound it as a sophomore in high school.
And you swim on the able-bodied team.
Oh, for sure. Well, I say for sure like that, just because, again, even from when I was 10 and I came out of that state of paralysis, pretty much, I was left in this new body, so I had 0% nerve capacity from my knees to the soles of my feet and about 30% from the tip of my elbow to my fingertips. My parents' thing were, if there's ever something that you can't do, the rule of thumb is as long as you continue to practice, guaranteed you're going to be better than you currently are today. And that doesn't matter what level of ability or access or whatever you have. If you practice and you continue to practice, you will be better than you are today. So that just stuck with me. And so I was always on able-bodied teams. I was a part of the disabled community that's like this invisible disabled,
Exactly.
100%, So I was just flying under the radar. And honestly, between you and I, for a long time, I had a lot of shame about it.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad to be able to be in this space now to speak about it, because for a long time, I think if anyone had ever asked me, do you think, let's just say, fully able-bodied athletes and challenge athletes, disabled athletes are all created the same? Do they deserve to be paid the same, this, that, and the other, the same amount of engagement? My PC answer was yes, of course. Like, duh, they're people. But when the point in time came to where I had to really kind of look in the mirror and face my own disability, I realized I didn't really believe that, because I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want anyone to, classify me as being disabled, and I realized how much shame I had really been holding around this over the years. We're talking about a 12-year secret here.
Right.
12 years, I never told anyone, just me, my mom, my dad. So that was the name of the game for a lot of my life.
Well, but you swam collegiately, Hiram College, and you had a scholarship there. So
I did.
And did they know?
No, they didn't know anything.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, So it's like it's that champion's mentality, It's a double-edged sword. On one side, that bullheadedness, that drive, that desire to not have any excuses led me to go far, sometimes too far. Sometimes I pushed my body too far and I paid the consequences. So, that was equally met with, the shame of hiding the disability.
Parasports, when
Yes,
did that
sir.
come into your life?
2000, it really came in 2018. The first time I was introduced to parasports was early 2018. I told my current coach at the time, Wilma Wong, actually, she called me out. First coach in my life, she's like, listen, I'm looking at the way you're swimming, the way you walk, the way you climb out of the car, you lift your legs up with your hands. You remind me of some of my cerebral palsy patients. Is there something you're not telling me here? And get this goofy grin on my face. We built a relationship at this time. I trust this lady. I open up to her. I tell her about Charcot-Marie-Tooth. And her response to me is, hey, listen, unless we can get this cured, to which at this point in time there is no cure, maybe instead of, this track that you're on, trying to make Olympic trials and do this, that, and other, because again, I was on an able-bodied, regular Hiram College swim team. This was the track I was on. Maybe we should entertain going to the Paralympics. And like I said, I still had a lot of shame about it. I shut it down immediately. I'm like, listen, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but that's not me. And so as fate would have it, 6 months passed. Someone else comes out, trains with our team, kid from Britain. We get up on the blocks, we dive in, we swim. He looks at the video, he's like, hey, Jamal, did you know that your legs don't work? Because he has this beautiful dive in the water and I have this skillful flop into the water, He's like, listen, man, you should check out the Paralympics. And it was at that point in time, Wilma having brought this to me, first person in 12 years. And here goes this stranger bringing it to me 6 months after. I really pride myself on being coachable.
Yes.
And honestly, also I'm spiritual. I have a relationship with God. I think there are things that we need to be listening to, our experience. And I felt like I was being called to try this and take that path. So 2018 is when I decided to try out for the U.S. Paralympics.
Well, and when I look at 2019, right, in Indy, right, second at the 100, second at the 100 free, 100 back, third at the 100 breast, third at the 50. So you're having success, right?
I'm having, and it's interesting that you start with Indy, because that was a struggle meet for me, man.
Really?
When I first came into U.S. Paralympics, obviously, not obviously, but there are, I believe, 13, 14 classifications in swimming.
Yes.
And so initially, I was classified as an S9.
Yes.
And so, 2018, even early 2019, I was having even more success as far as, rankings go. And it was in Indianapolis 2019 that I was reclassified and I got leveled up. So pretty much in the matter of an hour, I went from, top 5 in the world, number 1 in the nation in all these events, to now I'm number 22 in the world. So it'll definitely, it can get to you. But I mean, at that point in time, it was like another challenge.
Right.
Like, what are you going to do? The challenges will continue to come.
So the U.S. Paralympic National Championships, 2019 Dallas.
Yes, sir.
As an S10, you win the free, the back, and the 100 free, 100 back, and the 50 free.
Yes,
you
sir.
win everything.
Yes, sir. That was a good sweep.
Yeah.
That was a good sweep. Yes, sir.
So now that you're on this path,
yes,
right,
sir.
and the Paralympics are coming up very shortly, what would it mean to you to, one, make the team, especially when you've been struggling trying to figure out this whole classification thing and if you're going to get classified?
Absolutely.
If you make the team, what would it mean to you?
I think, I wouldn't be able to help but feel a sense of validation. 2016, again, man, I dropped out of college as a junior, 2016, with this crazy idea of, just definitely being the biggest swimmer that I could be, but being one of the biggest swimmers this world has ever seen, to really be a force, to maximize my abilities, and to make it to games.
Right.
So it's going to be a big sense of validation.
Well, that's when you left to come work with Dave Solo at USC.
Yes, sir.
Right? To swim with the best people in the world.
That's
to see where you're at. That's a little bit of a risk.
I think you're being modest with a little bit. Definitely a little bit of a risk. It was a gamble, but the same way I believe in God, I believe in luck, and I believe in hearing and feeling the things that can't necessarily be seen or actually heard with your ears or felt with your fingers. Some things you just know inside. Right. And at that point in my life, I'm like, I'm jumping off this cliff and I'm going to build a plane on the way down. Something told me that it's going to be a long fall and I'll probably be having a heart attack most of the way. But as long as I just stay on the path, things will work out. And so, at that point in time, my main focus was I need to get the highest possible swimming IQ that I can get. Exactly. And that's where I had a great support system here in Los Angeles.
Talk a little bit about the connection with Challenge Athletes Foundation when that happened.
Oh, my gosh. So I believe that was 2019 when I was first introduced to Challenge Athletes Foundation. Just from day one, man, a real family. A real family. I think, and you got to forgive me on this, I'm not sure if I met Roderick and then came into the CAF family, or came to ZF family and then that introduced me to Roderick. But from day one, what I really appreciated is just, obviously, Bob, and I think at this point in time, most people know that Olympic, Paralympic athletes, they have a hard go as far as finances,
yes.
Supporting their dreams, supporting the vision. There's a lot of economic support that is necessary, right? Food, training, coaching, not having to work a 9 to 5 or even a 12 to 3 because of how much that can take out of you outside of already being taxed to the max. So as soon as I came in the door, I was hit with questions like, are you eating? Oh, you care? Are you eating? What about coaching fees? Where are you training at? Are you getting all the time you need? Because we're here to help. Listen, I believe, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, you can take it out if I'm not, but when I first met, I'd even missed the grant period for that very first year. I had missed it when I came to the offices. And again, just kind of based off of me and you all and the accolades that I was building, you could see the vision we were working together. And it's just the spirit that's here. You're like, listen, we're going to find something for you, even though it's outside this. You still do what will be required for the grant, but we're going to find something for you because you need that help, and that's what we're here to do. So I absolutely love this place. I received my second grant this year. It was absolutely amazing. That went right into pool time, right into pool hours. Everything has gotten more expensive since COVID-19. Yes. So that was right on time. That bought me 7 months of pool time. And the beautiful thing about that is I think the impact, because by me having the pool time, guess what? My team also had that pool time.
Exactly.
So it extended beyond me, and that's what it's all about.
You have what we classify as an invisible challenge, right?
Yes, sir.
And so people see you and they go, okay, I see both arms, I see both legs,
right.
He's fine.
Yes, sir.
What is the biggest challenge for you on a day-to-day basis?
I think the biggest challenge for me on a day-to-day basis is finding my voice. Finding my voice. How do I introduce someone to something that goes against, everything that they probably believe to be true about it, right? Yes. How do I introduce myself as a Paralympic hopeful, a rising Paralympic star, and explain what the Paralympics are, and and just help them understand as they're looking me up and down, trying to figure out, well, I don't see anything missing. And to be honest, you look a little bit more fit than I do right now. So I think that's the greatest challenge, and I'm finding my voice, having those conversations more and more, leading with that and educating people.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm excited about 2021 Cullen Jones Aquatic Athlete of the Year Award.
Yes,
presented
sir.
by Diversity in Aquatics. I mean,
Yes,
is
sir.
there anything that sums up you better than that?
Anything that sums, that's a trick question. Yeah, definitely.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
What you're
Yeah,
doing.
that's what I'm doing.
Because your goal is, it's to make the Paralympics. Yeah, it's to be in the top. If you're going to be on the podium, why not be in the top of the
Why
podium?
not be on the
right.
top?
But you're also wanting that next kid to
Absolutely.
understand.
Oh man, absolutely. The next, I'm greedy when it comes to that, man. I want the next kid and the next kid after that, and all 3 kids around them, and that next kid that's not in America but that is in Brazil right now, or is it in Africa, or is it over in Australia, or over in the Philippines. I want all those kids, because all those kids are going to grow into people, and guess what? They're going to get a whole bunch of more kids, the same way that you have lent to all us athletes here, at the Challenge Athletes Foundation, the family. So, there's no shame in my game about that. I want all the service. I want all the impact. I want all the legacy.
Love it. Jamal,
Yes, sir.
Good luck down in Brazil and at the trials.
Yes,
and
sir.
hopefully, top of the podium at Tokyo.
Hey, man, I appreciate the time, Bob. Thank you.
Love it. Jamal Hill has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is a special edition of CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt. Our road to Tokyo. Hang on, we'll be right back.